Honourable members of the Parliament, protecting children, especially those in migration, is a top priority of our policies. By securing the future of children, Europe is securing its own future. And not only. Children in migration need to be protected, assisted, and offered durable solutions at all stages of migration. We have to avoid that they are exploited, abused, and trafficked. This challenge is becoming even more pressing given that in 2016, children represented 26% of the arrivals by sea. This represents an almost tenfold increase since 2010. Many of them are unaccompanied minors. Moreover, shortly after their arrival in Europe, an increasing number of minors abscond or disappear. In spite of the efforts taken at European and national level, the situation of minors remains unsatisfactory, and protection gaps must still be filled. Ensuring adequate assistance, both in terms of material supply, adequate reception and care, legal information, as well as psychosocial support is key to build trust and avoid absconding. The Commission is working on concrete and comprehensive actions to ensure protection of children in migration. The European Agenda on Migration and the Action Plan on Unaccompanied Minors is our starting point. The Commission will also follow up on the conclusions of the 10th European Forum on the Rights of the Child, organized in November 2016, and on the outcome of the recent conference Lost in Migration, organized by Missing Children in Malta in January. In Greece, the Commission is actively supporting the appointment of a child protection officer in each hotspot. Here, the availability of sufficient dedicated reception facilities remains a challenge, both on the islands and in the mainland. Over 1,000 unaccompanied children are still awaiting a shelter placement. EU funding is available under the Asylum, Migration and Integration Fund in order to support capacity building, to provide relevant infrastructure and to develop operational actions in frontline member states. Additional funding is also available under the Rights, Equality and Citizenship Programme to improve child protection in migration. In 2017, priorities on violence against children and women explicitly include children in migration. Funding under the Emergency Support Instrument has also been made available for child protection activities. EASO, European Borders and Coast Guard, and Europol are also supporting frontline member states in identifying unaccompanied minors and providing information on relocation. They offer capacity building activities and collaborate with public security departments for investigations on smuggling and trafficking. Ensuring legal ways of transfers is another key aspect to prevent absconding and falling into smugglers' traps. The Dublin system, including transfers and family reunification and the relocation schemes, must work efficiently and fast. All actors need to better collaborate to smoothly implement these procedures. For the moment, only 205 unaccompanied minors have been relocated from Greece and Italy, and as we all understand, this is unacceptable. This is unsatisfactory. However, the Commission works closely with Member States in this respect. The Commission has deployed dedicated teams in frontline Member States to address this matter. Moreover, The last year proposals to reform the common European asylum system aim at strengthening the guarantees available for vulnerable persons, including children. The proposals include provisions on safe accommodation in suitable reception facilities and prompt and effective guardianship for unaccompanied minors who apply for asylum. In the absence of travel documents, fingerprinting is one of the very few options to identify a person. For this reason, last year's reform proposals also aim to lower the minimum age for fingerprinting from 14 to 6 years old, with a view to reducing the risks of going missing. Swift progress on all asylum proposals is now needed in the European Parliament and the Council. If children go missing, they have to be found, and they have to be found fast. Existing instruments to report and record children's disappearances must be fully used. The Schengen Information System constitutes the only European-wide information exchange on missing persons in general. For this system to be useful, missing children must be reported to the police and other relevant responsible authorities. They should immediately record the disappearance in the Schengen Information System, attaching photographs and fingerprints and indicating that the child is unaccompanied. Currently, the Schengen Information System stores information on about 100,000 missing persons in 29 European countries, out of which about 65,000 are children. In 2016, 5,687 persons were found on the basis of SIS. In addition, the Commission has recently proposed to improve the Schengen Information System. For instance, we suggest having a new type of preventive alerts for missing unaccompanied children to be issued in cases when a child is particularly at risk. Better use must also be made of the existing missing children hotlines, 116,000 approximately. For instance, all reception centers managers should report all cases of children going missing via this hotline. As you can see, many actions are ongoing to better protect the children in migration, and the European Union shall set up its efforts. The migration crisis has been exploited by ruthless criminal networks involved in trafficking in human beings to target the most vulnerable, in particular women and children. It is our duty to protect children. We need to focus on prevention, the quality of care, and protection. We must reinforce our fight against the criminals, mobilize and inform public opinion, and put pressure on member states to use all tools available to protect children in migration. Let us live up to the challenge and address it by using all resources in a united and coordinated manner. Dear colleagues, let me start by expressing my thanks for your contribution to this debate and for your interventions that call for actions to protect children. A few of you, I believe, did not hear my introductory speech, my introductory remarks, but most of you were here. And I believe that the common conclusion is that we share the same concerns and objectives. I can assure you that the Commission is working on concrete and comprehensive actions to protect children in migration and offer them a future. Tomorrow, the Commission will adopt a package of reports that show that all actions are interlinked. Relocation, and it was underlined by some of you before, is the key solidarity measure also for migrant children. And the situation, I agree with you, is unsatisfactory. All migrants eligible in Greece and in Italy should be relocated before September. It's a deadline for all member states. And I believe that all of them will take up their responsibilities and will move swiftly to the implementation of this relocation scheme. And relocation of unaccompanied minors should increase as a matter of absolute priority for us and for all of us. Detention, I said in the beginning, is a tool of last resort that should not be excluded per se, but used in case it is in the best interest of the child. Let me stress that the European legislation requires member states to only place minor migrants in specialized detention centers that are adapted for migrants so that they have access to leisure activities. Sometimes, as I said before, this is for their own protection. Because, let's be clear, reality out there, on the ground, is not ideal. We have to avoid that minors fall in the hands of unscrupulous smugglers and traffickers that wait outside open detention centers, so closed centers can be appropriate in some cases. Some of you have been visiting, as I have, these places. Children are the easiest victims of smugglers and traffickers. Dear colleagues, our primary common goal is to protect children. And I would like to also call on NGOs with expertise to support the authorities of member states under pressure even more. The protection of children needs to be, of course, regulated, but it's a responsibility of our societies, of all of us as a whole. And the Commission has taken the lead on that. But as it was very correctly said before, member states should take their shares. And I fully agree with the proposal to sensitize and mobilize your colleagues in the national parliaments. We have to address this issue together, united. And I don't think there is one person among you, among the members of the Commission, or among your colleagues in the national parliaments that do not share our determination, our commitment to safeguard, support this vulnerable part of the migrants that have decided to cross rough seas, fire, dictatorships, and difficult moments in order to come to Europe. It is our duty, and it remains, as I said before, our top priority to address this very, very sensitive issue. Thank you very much for your attention.